Did you know that you can create a TNT blast chamber that maximizes your TNT blast without having to rely on push limit or precise timings with your input stream and TNT timings? Oh yeah, that's right. If you're a fan of blast chambers, you're in for quite a treat. But first, let's talk about a common issue many players face when it comes to creating TNT blast chambers. You might be wasting TNT, like this blast chamber here, or potentially losing items through inefficient layouts such as these. See those items that just disappeared there? Bye bye, gone for good. Or you're simply just not getting the results you want. But it can be really frustrating. Some designs look cool, but they don't quite pack the punch that you're hoping for. Imagine setting up a blast chamber only to run out of TNT before you even get a shulker of resources. What a letdown. But with this simple trick, you'll harness the full power of TNT and create something that not only looks fantastic, but works like a charm. This trick being accepting that you don't absolutely need the fastest, and just slow down the rate to 6 game ticks instead of 4 for your input. This allows us to only dispense the TNT when the last layer is ready without overfilling the buffers before it gets moved, much like El Mango's blast chamber. So it's sort of giving you the best of both worlds between El Mango's and Cubic Meter's blast chamber, just slowing it down a little bit. Now, if you think that this design is trash because of this, then listen here, get closer. This is not the video for you. Leave now. This is just an alternate design. It's not meant to replace El Mango's or Cubic Meter's blast chamber. Rather, this is just an alternative design. If you seem to have more farms with a erratic feed rate, and they're not necessarily outputting 4 game tick block streams. Easy peasy, even concrete powder and mud, 6 game tick input stream, fast enough for me. And it should be fast enough for plenty of other people as well. If you want Cubic Meter or El Mango's designs, just go watch their videos. It's that simple. I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through the redstone before the tutorial. Explain a couple of things, that way you know what they are and how they work whenever you're building the tutorial. What this circuitry here is a on and off switch for the blast chamber. That way it will not accept any more blocks as an input if the TNT down here becomes empty. Now, how we've done that is we just have a comparator while this is full with an observer up on top. And the way we've done that is it detects whenever it gets low. To simulate that, I'll just flick that. And you see this block up, this redstone block gets pushed diagonal to this piston right here. What that's doing is that it is bud powering it. Imagine that this piston block is the bottom block of a door, and this top block is being powered by this here redstone block. This note block is here just to give an update to this piston so that this piston knows that it is powered. And whenever this the TNT is ready to go again, bada boom, bada bing, it automatically resets and is ready to accept more. So you can very easily hook this up to an auto crafter. That way you can auto craft your TNT auto-magically anytime you need to keep it filled up and whatnot. But this is a nice way of making sure that it doesn't ever run out. And then from there, your TNT is just in a simple pod here. There's some other things, we'll get to that later. But you've got a bottom trapdoor here pressed up right against a dispenser. And in that dispenser, of course, is your TNT. Let's go ahead and mention this. There is an air block above this, between this wall here, that is detecting the splitting of the block streams. We do that. Stop falling. I really wish I had the no clip mode. We have this gap here. That way the TNT actually has a little bit of room to move up a little bit and pop up above the trapdoor. If we didn't have this air block here, it would just immediately fall and just start breaking things and whatnot. You don't want that. So just make sure you have an air block above that, and it is powered by this observer here. This observer is only triggered once every 6 layers, which we detect with this item within this counter. Can I show you from the bottom? Yeah, the bottom shows you pretty well. We have our droppers in this orientation here, this one having the item in here. Imagine this as your layer 1, layer 0. This counts whenever you have turned over to one layer, working on your first layer onto your second one, it'll end up in this one here, and then 3, 4, 5, and then this is basically your sixth layer. Once the item gets in here, it will turn on this line right here. It will also prime this observer here for this line. We'll get to that later. Right now, what this is doing primarily is powering this line, which will remove this block, which is detecting whenever this buffer here gets filled. What it does is it will move this out. Basically, this gets powered once whenever a block gets here, gives one pulse, and another pulse whenever these blocks pull them down, because this works by pulling it up and unpowering these, and then in the next redstone tick, powering these here pistons here through by powering right here. So this is detecting both of those pulses. So it's going to pull this observer back and push it back again, which is going to power this in this line right here, which is going to power this piston once. And right now we already have one buffer in here, but if it were empty, this observer would be pushing here and it would be primed just like it is right now once it gets that in there. So it's pushed out there. And then the next time it gets another one in here, once again, this will get 2 pulses. This will get 2 pulses, pulled out and back in, power this once, and it will pull this back in, powering this whole line right here, all of these pistons, pushing items down. But since this is on, back to our point, once the item gets all the way around into this, signifying that we are on the 6th layer, what we want to do is we want to remove this block. That way, whenever that chain happens there, it does not power this right here. And it is only pushed back in once the item gets pushed over to this and whatnot. But due to this being on the same time as this over here, and the item's only moving after this has been powered, your whole counter system right here, which I'm about to explain how that works real quick. Whenever it gets into here, it unpowers this, pushes that back after the supposed tick usually comes for that. So it's already good. Now, as soon as that power has been tried to be given to it, we can push that block back in immediately. And what happens is the item moves back over into here, pushes this observer with this piston up into this block, sending a pulse through this redstone line, and we're diverting it to the side over here with a target block. That way it does not interact with this redstone here. If we had any interaction with this, would have some major breakages. But it powers this, we have a repeater, and it powers this line right here, which again powers your dispenser. This observer is detecting whenever that dispenser gets powered, which means that we now have active TNT. So we need to have a ton of delay here, and just before it splits off, because here it splits off into 2 different directions, what it's going to do is it's going to drop your TNT, start dropping it, letting it fall, and then with just enough time, this observer is going to detect that trapdoor has been powered. It is now ready to go. So it is going to detect that, send a pulse, send a pulse out this way with just enough delay to push all of these blocks down just as the TNT explodes. And how this counter works, just like over here, detecting each and every time that this buffer happens, we have this over here into this piston and this observer, and what it is pointing into is this piston right here, which will, and because we have a buffer right here, it is primed right now, but imagine that this observer is down by 1. What it'll do is whenever you have one item primed, it'll push it up. And then the next time we get another buffer fill in there, it'll push those in. And then bada boom, bada bing, we'll get a power here. What it'll do is power this block, power this line right here, which is essentially an insta-dropper line that gets it from this dropper all the way over here. And then it gets powered from here, and it gets moved over into this dropper. So that's your next stage. And then for that, every single time it happens, and for this one, since it is, the reason this is an instant dropper line is because we're powering it from this end, and this rail will then update before all the rest. So it's going to move in the same game tick from this dropper to 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 this dropper. And then the next 2 game ticks, because a delay for this, it's going to get powered in this line because now it's been moved over to this line and get powered from right here. And because it is getting powered on this end right here, it's going to update on this end first, but the item's on this end, so it's only going to move over 1 block. So get moved over to this. So that's now essentially 2 layers in, because whenever the item gets moved over from that item to here, that is now layer 2. So 1, 2, item will get moved over in here. And then once we get a 3rd layer, it'll move to here, 4th layer, 5th layer, 6th layer, and we will repeat the process once again with timing it perfectly down there. And what I was mentioning here is whenever it gets to the 6th layer, basically tells you to remove this block. It also primes this and then moves this block back whenever this line right here turns back off, which sends a signal down here saying, hey, blast chamber is ready to go. Items are about to be falling down here. And we have a ton of delay just to be able to get through all the things that happen up there and the items falling all the way down here and getting streamed all the way down into a block over here. So we have this massive delay S-ing all the way this way. Once again, we are doing the 4 game tick, piston, then an observer into this block. What it's going to do then, let's show you. Items get S'd all the way down into this block right here. Let's throw a couple of items in there. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Just have them all spaced all over the place, you know? So you see how all of those items are spaced out all over the place. What this is going to do is power this block. It's going to push this out, power this block, update this piston first, push them over to this honey block. Then on a 4 game tick delay, because this is now powering this node block. So this observer is detecting it, and this observer is detecting it. So this is 2 game tick delay, 2 game tick delay. So basically 6 game tick delay, because it takes 2 game ticks for this piston to also extend. So 6 game ticks later, they'll get moved over 1 other block onto the next honey block, which this is getting detected. So it is now 2 game ticks, 4 game ticks. So this is now 4 game ticks later. Oops, I just picked up all those items. 4 game ticks later, it'll now get pushed from this piston into your water stream. But this is basically just to keep hopper pickup speed from becoming a problem with your filters. It just clumps all of the items together. That way you don't have to worry about some items not getting picked up by your filters if they theoretically should be getting picked up. So let's go ahead and just kind of show how this works. I'll do that. Bada boom, bada bing, and all those items just got pushed down that way. Now, I should probably go ahead and mention before we get into the tutorial, this does not work reliably on paper servers. Let me just go ahead and say that right now. The reason being, paper servers prioritize performance for the server over tick timing. And Redstone is very heavily dependent on tick timing. So what paper does is if your server is under too much load, it will skip ticks, which could potentially break your timings for your buffers, get those out of sync first and foremost, or worse, whenever these are trying to harvest, the timings won't line up, and you won't be breaking the 240 blocks per TNT that you're supposed to, and you'll end up with that thing down there that only breaks maybe 40 blocks per TNT, and you can't run anything with the blast resistance of stone or higher through it. Now, this does still break potentially if you're unloading it, even in vanilla. Nothing really likes getting unloaded. No redstone contraption likes getting unloaded, even in vanilla Minecraft. So, like, they're very few and far between. But this should be a little more resistant to breaking when unloading, just simply because this fits a 15 by 16 area. So you really, like, as long as you fit it within those chunk borders, like, this shouldn't really be the problem of the breakage. Like, yeah, you may clog up some of your lines outside of that chunk border if you unload it while it's running. Don't unload this while it's running. If you do want something that does work reliably on paper servers, I convinced my buddy to let me record him giving me a tour of his blast chamber and his Omni farm setup that does work reliably on paper servers. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that. This is the design that I was using prior for my farms with an erratic feed rate, and this just being one for an example. It's certainly not the best, but it was able to handle my farm's inconsistent feed rates perfectly. I've ran hundreds of hours through this blast chamber, and I've not gotten a single malfunction that wasn't purely my fault. And the major downside is that, well, frankly, it just kind of eats through TNT. This one gets an average of about 28 blocks per TNT. Yeah, it's not that great. And the new design has all the same great reliability features. But now we've turned our simple TNT chamber into an epic spectacle. You can see how this 3x3 comes in and it fills all the way around this area where the TNT is going to fall. And eventually it gets filled and we have that nice tss from that. And this entire wall gets pushed down just in time for that TNT to fall. A beautiful spectacle that is sure to put a great look on your friends' faces. The only real downside being that it doesn't work with 4 game tick input streams. Yes, I will admit that's a downside. There are a lot of farms that take 4 game tick designs, but I am working and doing my best to make my own farms that do support other blast chambers and other things that don't necessarily need 4 game tick input streams. Because honestly, this stuff is pretty fast for me at 12,000 blocks per hour and around about 12 TNT per hour. I'm happy with that, and I hope you are too. And since it's right here next to it, I guess hit that like button if you want to see a tutorial on this concrete crafting factory that also you can run mud through as well. If you want to see it hooked up to this blast chamber too. All right, the materials you're going to need for this is right here on the list. Pause if you need. You can ignore that right there. But also to mention, you're going to need probably some buffer items too. Little caveat is you're going to want to fill up these block streams here. If you can see this very well on YouTube, I don't know how the compression is going to be, but these block streams that are feeding into the blast stream, you're going to want to pre-fill these. That way these sides don't get out of sync. But as long as you do those right, this is kind of essentially an unbreakable blast chamber. All right, so we're going to start with a double chest down here. And you're going to actually probably want to go ahead and do something like this. Go ahead and slap a glass block there, and go ahead and surround this bad boy. All right, then we want to come out one more like this, and we actually want to come up one more like that right there. And then you want to come up like this. Actually, you don't want this one here. You want to come up like this. Then you're going to grab a honey and a honey. And we want to have any unblastable block right here. Then you want to come over here, and here. And just to mention, white stained glass is going to be any block. Glass is going to be where you're going to want any glass or top half slab. And the white concrete is anything that is necessarily or a necessity for a redstone block. It is a do not break. Whereas the white stained glass can be any building block of your choice. We want to break this glass that we had here. And we want a piston facing here, as well as a piston facing here, and a piston facing here in this orientation right here. What this is going to do is we're going to fire these in a sequence. That way the items will sit up here, then they'll get pushed over, and they'll essentially be clumped up together. That way, if you've got a water stream and a bunch of filters downstream, then, well, the items will be able to actually all get picked up rather than the hopper picking up a single item that managed to make it into this first. And then you got, the rest of the items coming past right after that. But the hopper's on cooldown speed. We don't want that. So we want all of the items to be clumped up together. So while you're here, you can go ahead and grab your bucket of water. You're going to slap that bucket of water right there. Then next thing we want to do is we want to come over here, grab a block. We want another block here. We want to grab a note block right here, and then we want an observer facing here. We want to come over here, grab a sticky piston, pointing into that block right there. Then we're going to have observer, 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 into a block with an observer into this block, but we don't want that there yet. Oh, I guess it can go ahead and go there. Then you want... Oh, I actually did that wrong. You don't even need that block there, and you don't need these here. You can just put the observer directly into that, and grab your any building blocks here, rail and rail. All right, now comes the fun part. We're gonna grab any of our building blocks here, and we're gonna want a lot of repeaters. All of these are gonna be on 4 full ticks. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Have a full block. Whoops. Out. Full block. Let me move those. No, we wouldn't do that. And we want to S this 4 times. All right, now we're at 4, so we want to go ahead and put our full block here and go ahead and get another one right here. I'm going to have another full block, glass, full block, and we're going to come over by 4 one more time with a full block here at the end. Then we're going to grab all of these repeaters and put them on full ticks. I'll go ahead and skip past this for you. All right, so now next thing we want to do is grab any unexplodable block, slap it up here, and we want an 11 wide platform. So starting on this piston, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we come over on this other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we can grab any block here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We come over 1, 2, 3, 4, and we cap it off at the end here with 1 and 2. Then we come and do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And cap it off with anything that cannot explode right here. You can use waterlogged leaves. You can use obsidian, crying obsidian, ancient debris if you so choose. Anything that doesn't explode. Then next we want to come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And come up 1. And then you want to come over 1, 2, 3. Then come over 1. And this is once again 11 across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you just repeat what you did on this side, on this side. Then you want to grab your any building blocks as well. And you want to fill up this platform going all the way across. And you want to come all the way back in line with this. Then here you're going to come up 1 and go here. Then you want to fill this platform all the way in. Once again, we'll do another cut. Then you want to come over here and grab a fence gate, and you want to slap that right here. Then get some water, put it in this corner. You might want to temporarily block this up while you fill these in, but you just want to fill up water all the way across this right here, and then you can break these. And it should flow all the way to the end and stop just at the end. Then you want to come to the center, and you want to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks out. Then you want to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, that's 11 more blocks. Then you want a ring of any blast proof block here. Then you want to come out by 3 and down by 2. Then you're gonna come out 1, 2, 3. Make another corner. And you're going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you're going to repeat this on all 4 sides. 3. And it should come out perfectly like that. All right, next we want to come up 1, 2, 3. We want to have 2 wide here, 2 wide. And we want to fill in basically 2 rings around this 3x3 hole. Just like the cubic meters design. And you want to fill in these rings as well. Whoops. And you're going to have redstone dust all over the back of these. Yep, laggy redstone dust. I am still in the process of sort of redesigning this to make it dustless, but this should be working plenty fine. At this point, you can go ahead and remove these. In fact, it's a smart idea to go ahead and remove these right here to have nothing in the way of that. Next step, we're going to start with our buffers that feed this shape here. So we're going to have an observer here. And you're going to want any building block here, any building block here, any building block here. And you want an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And below these glass blocks, you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pistons. And we're going to go ahead and grab these, put Put your redstone here, and put a full block right here so that you can cut off that redstone connection. And correction, this is going to be a sticky piston facing down here, not a building block. So make sure you have a sticky piston there. And you want to come down 2 blocks from that sticky piston, place a redstone block. In line with this redstone block with 1 gap, you want to grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 target blocks. And you want to grab some more building blocks over here. And you want sticky pistons on top of all of these target blocks. Grab your redstone dust, and those sticky pistons should be powered. And what it does is whenever this buffer gets filled, it instantly puts it in. Now, repeat this on all 4 sides. Now for the next step, pick any one of these corners here and place an observer right here with a sticky piston directly above it and an observer facing this way. Then catty corner from this, you want another piston right here, an observer facing this way into a block like this. Now off of this, we're going to build our circuitry to count how many layers have been put into the farm. That way this into the blast chamber. That way this blast chamber always knows what state it is in. Then you want to come off of that block, grab a regular block, another full block right here, and any building block right here. You want a repeater here, and a dust right here. Next to this glass block, you want to place 6 observers facing down. 5, 6, and 1 more set going back this way. That way they look like this. Then you want to grab some rails and place them facing like this. Oops. And the other side facing just like this. Then you want either air or glass. I would recommend glass. That way nothing accidentally ends up getting in here if you accidentally misclick or anything, because if you have a full block in here, it breaks the whole thing. Don't put a full block in these. What we're going to be using is bud powering a bunch of droppers. And below this glass block or air block, we're going to have dropper facing this way. And all of these in this line are going to be facing this way, except for this last one. It's going to be facing this way. And then once again, same way like this. And on this last one, facing into that. Then we want 2 building blocks, and we want to grab 2 comparators, 1 here and 1 here. And we want a sticky piston with an observer facing up right here with a full block right there. Now to this comparator, we want observer, sticky piston, and an observer facing down into a full block. And a note block or a rail, because we're going to have an observer underneath that. At this point, you can go ahead and hook up this line that we have down here, because this is how we are going to detect when we need to pulse this. Next thing we want to do is grab any building block here and come out and up 3 blocks. And you want rails on these and an observer observing this top one. And we're going to go ahead and put a block, any building block, with a repeater on top, and a block, whoops, and a sticky piston. And one block gap, we're going to have a block right here. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab off of this. Since you did this corner, we're going to now do this one. We're going to have a block, sticky piston, and directly under this block, we want an observer pointing directly into that. And now we want any building block off of this, 1, 2, 3, with an observer, any building block, and a sticky piston below that. And then we're going to have directly above that redstone dust catty corner to this piston, a full block with an observer pointing directly into that. Then we're going to grab a rail, put one here, here, and here. That's going to break, but go ahead and replace that. Now on to the good stuff, the TNT dispensing redstone. Now we want any building block there, and on top of these 2 blocks, we want these 2 redstone. Then we want to come grab a target block. Whoop, not on top of it, on the side of it right there. That way it redirects that redstone. That way we can pull it to the side here with a repeater, and 1, 2, 3 of your building blocks, and some more rails. Then off of the end of this rail line, we want an observer, full block, grab our dispenser, make sure it is a dispenser and not a dropper. We want a bottom trapdoor. This can be an iron trapdoor or any wooden trapdoor of your choice. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be waterlogged anyways. But we're going on the side of this, we're going to want a full block here and any building block here with an observer right here. And at this point, I'd recommend going ahead and waterlogging this just in case anything bad happens. But now, off of this dispenser, we want an observer with a full block. Now off of that block, we're going to have any two full blocks here and another full block here. You want a repeater going this way and 2 dust. And this repeater you want on only 2 ticks. Then you want a full block. Or I say, this repeater should only be on 1 tick here. Then you want any building block here. Repeater on 2 ticks. And then 1, 2, 3 more repeaters. Full block here. And all of these repeaters are on 4 ticks. Now, let's go ahead and temporarily remove this because we want 1, 2, full block, any building block, and these repeaters as well on 4 ticks. Go ahead and replace that observer now. Now, out of this observer detecting this trapdoor, grab a full block, and then any building block, and 2 redstone dust. Once again, any building block, full block, any building block, 2 repeaters, both of them on 4 ticks. Then we want a sticky piston with an observer facing down, and a block here with a note block, observer, and observer. Next, go ahead and grab just a hopper and another double chest here with any full block out here. With a comparator, go ahead and grab another observer and a rail. This, an observer here, and just a rail on top. This is going to be an auto shut-off system that we're going to hook up later. Now we're going to start working on the block diversion streams. We're going to come up here, and we want observers surrounding a wall with a 1 block gap between the trapdoor that we're dispensing the TNT onto. Then, here next to this chest, slap a full block, redstone, and a piston here. Then on this next one, grab a full block, redstone. Then we're going to start coming up just a little bit like this with our redstone, just like this, with our piston right there. This next one's a little bit different because we need to come down by 1. So you want any building block here, and you want your redstone here. Then you want to grab your glass blocks here and start stepping up this way. And come up 1 more with this right here into a full block with a note block below it and a piston against that note block. And very similarly, this one, we're as well also going to come out to the side underneath it. And we're going to step up just like this till we get up here. With our piston there, full block here, and our redstone tailing all the way down. Now the way this should work is you grab any blocks here, they get streamed in, and they get split 4 different ways. And then for our input, we want a piston facing down just like this, and then you're going to want a wall here, catty corner like this on this side, and 1 more on this side with observers pointing up out of those, full block, any building block on either side, and a redstone dust on either one of those. Putting blocks next to either one of these will fire that, and anytime these move, because block 36 doesn't connect to walls, it will disconnect and then reconnect whenever the block stream stops moving. Therefore, it will update this for every time the stream moves once, allowing this piston to fire. All right, now for our auto shut off. We're going to come up here 1 more time with an observer rail, Then we're going to have observer, full block, then a rail, and one more observer. Then we're going to have a redstone dust on top of that observer, full block, a note block, and we want to come grab a sticky piston and a redstone block. We want the redstone block here, and the sticky piston underneath that, pointing into the redstone block. Then we want another note block right here to update this piston whenever this note block gets pushed in, bud powering the piston. And just for quality of life, go ahead and throw some carpets on top of that. That way, neither one of those you have to hear every time you're putting in block streams. All right, next what we want to go ahead and do is grab some walls and pistons. And we want a wall right here with an observer here, full block, redstone dust, and a piston right here. And you want to repeat this on all 4 sides. And once it's completed, you should have essentially a gap here between the cell and your actual buffer. And what I'd recommend is actually going ahead and filling up all of these block streams that we're about to do with dirt as a buffer. That way nothing gets out of sync. So we want to go up catty corner to this piston, place 1, and go up 10 more blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to grab a wall here, observer here, piston facing down, block with a note block and a carpet on top of that right there. Then you want to come over 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks and place another wall like this, observer, block, redstone dust, and your piston. And that should line up with that piston coming in right there. Next one to start on, going to be a little bit hard to find, but it is tucked away in all this redstone here. You want to come over here and start up 1 block here, and you want to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more blocks with, once again, a wall, observer, block, note block, carpet for quality of life, and a piston. Then from here, you want to come over this way towards the one that we just built, over by 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And just like last time, wall, observer, full block, dust, and a piston. And this, once again, should line up perfectly with that one right there. And while I'm at it, you don't need these 4 up here. The only buffers you need to worry about are these because they are varying vertical heights. So if you don't have those in there, then it could potentially break the farm by getting out of sync on the sides. Only way to do it is like that. Next, we're going to come over here, place 1 right here on this one. After that, and we're going to kind of place that one there and come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more. And once again, wall, observer, block, note block, carpet for quality of life, and a piston. And then we want to come over 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, a wall, observer, block, dust, piston. You can remove these. And this wall should line up with that. You should be able to see that piston right there. And for the last side, we already have 1 up in here. We need to come up an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. And just like last time, wall, observer, block, note block, carpet for quality of life, and a piston underneath that. And then once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, wall, observer, block, dust, and your piston. And you can go ahead and remove those. Next thing you want to do, though, is make sure you have no TNT in here at the moment. Now, at this point, you're going to want to go ahead and hook up your input. It can be on any of these sides here that I'm placing this dirt, because they will always be brushing up against those walls. You can use any 4 of these sides as an input. So I would recommend at this point, now go ahead and start inputting some blocks. That way they can start getting shoved down, and you want them to fill up to be level with this right here. So go ahead and do that. And then once you've done that, you can shut off whatever farm it is, and you can grab an item and put it into this block. And that should be the timing right there to make sure that all the items get pushed down just in time for TNT and such. But I would not recommend having the item in that dropper before filling this up, because there's no guarantee, because the TNT does explode pretty darn close. So there's no guarantee that stuff up here won't explode before you actually manage to get enough items in here to kind of protect the rest, if you know what I mean. In summary, you've learned how to build an impressive TNT blast chamber that will be sure to impress your friends, that combines some of the best features from two of the best blast chambers, arguably, that's ever graced the technical Minecraft community. And this one just combines some of the best features between those two. The great, compact, and super efficient design from Cubic Meter, paired with the great reliability feature of only dispensing TNT once this is actually filled and ready to go through precise counting. So not only does it look great, but it also delivers a massive explosion that will leave everyone stunned. Remember, the key is in the design and the materials that you choose. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and a comment with your thoughts. I'd love to hear how your TNT chambers turned out and how it works with your farms. Go check out some of my other videos while I start working on my next project. So, until next time, keep crafting and blowing things up in style.